Traditions are sacred in the South. The Masters, SEC football, and fried chicken anytime. Now, add one more. Pull up a chair, fix your glass, and get ready for some good old-fashioned Southern charm. Welcome to Success and Sweet Tea, a podcast dedicated to your success in business, lifestyle, and relationships, all with a shot of Southern magic. And now, coming to you from deep in the heart of the Southland, get ready for an engaging conversation with your new favorite Southern couple, Doug and Vickie Miles.
Hello, everybody. My name is Doug Miles.
And I'm Vickie.
And we'd like to welcome you today to an introductory broadcast of our new podcast, Success and Sweet Tea.
Absolutely. And it's our pleasure to be with you today. And we thought it's only fair that if we're going to start a new podcast, Success and Sweet Tea, that we tell you a little bit about what we plan to do. Doug, why don't you give a little bit of a background on why we even started this venture together?
Well, I think a good way to start that is to kind of give you a little bit of a corporate mission statement. People always do that whenever they're starting a new business. And I like that. I like mission statements because I like to keep on target with my work. So I'm going to give you just a little quick blurb about our mission statement, what Success and Sweet Tea means to us and what we are striving to accomplish through that. But Success and Sweet Tea is a production that is going to highlight successes in individuals and guests with roots in the South and in their Southern heritage and how it's influenced their career approach and how it's influenced their outcomes. The video cast looks at business, financial, political, societal, religious successes and stories regarding men and women who have sacrificed for the well-being of others. We're searching for interviewees who have both a traditional as well as a more varied or non-traditional conception of what success really is constituted by. So the most important criteria for our podcast is that our interviewees, the people who we speak to and talk to, have an intriguing story or it has a very exciting story. And we have several that we've already taken care of recording that are getting ready to drop over the course of the next several weeks. And I think you'll just really be excited along with us to hear these stories because a lot of them you haven't heard, but you will be really excited when you hear them and probably want to take some action in some sort of way after you hear their story.
And Doug, the good news is what we're really trying to do is give people a chance to tell their story. That's what this is really all about. We know there are a lot of success stories, particularly in the South. We love these Southern flavored success stories. And why would we love that? We're pretty Southern ourselves.
We are indeed. But we've been together long enough that if one of us weren't Southern, that it would certainly have rubbed off on the other one.
Absolutely.
We've been together almost 44 years now. It's hard for us to believe, but we met in November. Well, actually, we met in September of 1976. We community dated for a good long while with a bunch of our friends that we made at college.
I have a comment about that, community dating.
Okay.
That was because he didn't want to commit and make sure that everybody knew we were together. It was safe to be in a community. But okay, you may proceed with the story.
Well, I thought non-committal at that point in my life was probably the most safe place to be. But we would date just in a group. We'd all go out to Shoney's and back in those days, Shoney's on the Atlanta Highway in Montgomery, Alabama, and we'd have coffee. We would eat desserts, and we would
strawberry pie and hot fudge cake.
Yeah, that too. And we'd just take our books, but we didn't do any book cracking. We didn't study a whole lot. What we did basically was just visit and talk and had a good time. And so that's how we got together. We actually had a 7:30 class together, and in our very first year in school.
At Alabama Christian College, now Faulkner University.
That's right. And we met so many of our friends there that we are really involved with today still after all these years. We didn't lose touch with a whole lot of people that we grew up with back in those days and who knew us back when we were a couple. And now we're just a one-word couple. We're just Doug and Vickie. And so
it's just a phrase.
Yeah, if you just kind of put Doug and Vickie, that's everybody says Doug and Vickie. So it's very rarely that we're mentioned individually. So Doug and Vickie is basically who we are.
That's exactly right. And we tell you our story because we do feel like in this current environment, 44 years is a success. Everything about success is not necessarily because you had some new business venture, although we've had lots of those. And we've been very blessed with success in those areas. I had a long career in education. Doug had a long career in business. And at this point in life, we want to hear your stories. We feel like we can share some things that would be helpful, but we're more interested in what our guests will share and about their successes. So we are so excited to get to interview some of the most talented, interesting people with all kinds of backgrounds of success. And
you know,
that's our story.
Yeah, it is. And there's just really a Southern formula for success. Business is conducted differently down here.
Yes.
And I'm not saying that it's conducted in a bad way anywhere else. It's not. Everybody is successful to some degree in their lives. But down here in the South, there's just a respect, and there's a gentleman's code. There's just an understanding that we have amongst each other. And there is so many times when a handshake is a handshake and it means what it used to. But you learn who those people you can really accept a handshake with will suffice, or if you need to go further than that. But there's just a way that we do business down here that works well everywhere.
Because it's usually centered around family. And that's certainly where we have found a lot of our success, is trying to focus on family. And then everything's better, Doug, with a little bit of sweet tea. At least that's what you would say.
Yeah, it is. And I want to toast success and sweet tea, and my wife, and Doug and Vickie, and success and sweet tea again.
Absolutely. So stay tuned. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, our email address. Just look for Success and Sweet Tea. We plan to be right there in the middle of everything you're doing and everything that you're interested in.
Yeah, you can reach us by email at successandsweettea@gmail.com, or you can look below the screen here, and you can go to the drop box there, or the box there, and you can see the email address, and you can look for our podcast and our video cast together where you would normally look for those items. And we will begin to drop these podcasts and video casts on early February. Really is an accurate date, early February. And we've got some things that we're working with other guests that have that we need to introduce to you first. So they're scheduled for other interviews and things like that, but after us. But we were very blessed to be able to get an interview with some of our people because at the time we did, because of the other ventures that they're involved in that took place almost immediately after we had the opportunity to film their episode.
And Doug, I just have to quickly say, and one of our first guests is Judge Trippy McGuire, and you cannot miss his story. You will love to hear about his new book, and it's all about the South. As a matter of fact, anybody from the Alabama area will not want to miss it. So I just had to give that little bit of an intro to Trippy, Doug. They've got to see that episode with Trippy.
Yes, and for you who don't really know where Opp, Alabama is, it's in southeast, really, it's basically South Alabama, close to the Florida line. It's a small community down there. It's a small town, really. It's bigger, a lot bigger than a community. It has a really good school down there, and they've had a lot of sports success over the years. And Trippy is an import there. He married a local girl from there, and they're just wonderful, wonderful people. And Trippy is a very wonderful guest, and you will certainly, without doubt, enjoy everything that Trippy has to say. And he has a sense of humor like no other. And
more guests to come, just like Trippy. So lots of interesting people from lots of different backgrounds.
Yeah, we want to give Trippy just a little bit extra push because Trippy is our first guest, and he'll be the very first
That's right.
Drop that you see in early February. And we want you to be sure to stay tuned for all of these podcasts. Watch them, hit the subscribe button, help us to get the word out. If you like us, share us, and hit the subscribe button and let your friends know about us. It takes 10 seconds on Facebook or any of these to actually share. Instagram, even TikTok. So take time, if you would, to consider us and to think about the things that we're going to get done and the things that we're going to enjoy doing together. So we invite you back very, very soon now. And Vickie, you got anything else to say before we wrap this up?
Just continue to drink your sweet tea. Tell us all about your successes. And you send us opportunities to interview more people that you know about. This is about having a chance to tell your story. So we can't wait to hear yours.
And by the way, I'll find out before we meet again why we've got grapes here. I still haven't figured that one out. So anyway, don't tell me now. Just let me ponder that.
It's a secret,
I'll ponder
it's
that
a secret.
one. So thanks, folks. We'll talk to you later.